Peat, permafrost, carbon. What is peat? Peat forms over hundreds and thousands of years as plants grow, die, and pile up underwater in wet ecosystems like bogs and swamps. Peat formation. Year 1. Dead vegetation falls into an open body of water like a lake, forming a layer at the bottom. Year 50. Over decades, more layers of dead vegetation bury the first, partially filling the body of water and forming a wetland. New plants grow, die, and sink to the bottom, adding to the layers. Organic matter in the layers stays primarily intact, decomposing only very slowly. Year 1000. After hundreds or thousands of years, more layers of dead plants and sediment completely fill the wetland, forming a bog or swamp. Dense layers of this organic matter become peat. This submerged plant material does not decompose completely or get broken down, as often occurs in other ecosystems. Instead, the long chains of sugar molecules that make up the plant stay mostly the same as they were when the plant was alive. The sugar molecules are made up of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen atoms. Over time, these plants pile up more and more, get packed together, and form peat. We know there is peat in the Arctic. Peat is found all over the world, including places like swamps in Florida, bogs in Ireland, and wet tropical forests in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Central Africa. Altogether, peatlands account for about 3% of the 29 of Earth's surface covered by land masses. Peatland forms in wetlands all over the world. Peat and carbon and energy. In places like Ireland, Finland, and Scotland, local people gathered peat from nearby bogs, stacked it to dry, and burned it as a fuel to cook food and heat homes. Though the practice of burning peat for heating and cooking continues today, many places are now considering laws to restrict or regulate the use of peat for these purposes. Peatlands contain nearly 25% of this planet's soil carbon, which is twice as much carbon as it is stored in the soil of the world's forests. Peat in the Arctic. There are nearly 4 million square kilometers of peatland in the northern hemisphere, mostly in the Inuit homelands or Arctic Circle. This includes parts of Russia, Canada, Alaska, and Greenland. In total, peatlands in the Arctic region cover an area roughly 1/3 the size of the continental United States. The bogs and swamps where peat formed in the Arctic Circle are now mostly frozen, locked in permafrost. Permafrost comes from the words permanent, meaning everlasting, and frost, meaning frozen. Permafrost is a mix of rock, soil, ice, and peat on the surface of the earth that remains frozen for at least 2 years in a row. Until recently, it often stayed frozen for hundreds or thousands of years. Peatlands cover many parts of the far north, and much of it is frozen in permafrost. The picture on the left is a block of thawing permafrost that fell into the ocean on Alaska's coast. The picture on the right are the layers of permafrost. Because of increased global temperatures, especially in the Arctic, the permafrost is thawing. This exposes peat and other preserved organisms like woolly mammoths. Thawing also can lead to the release of carbon-containing gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.